Welcome to Speaking the Truth with your host, Anthony Brown, the show where we don't flinch from the tough questions, we lean into them. I'm your host, Anthony Brown. Today's episode is going to ruffle a few feathers because we're talking about Superman. So if you haven't seen the movie Superman, this is a spoiler alert. Watch the movie or listen to the show. Maybe that will give you the unction to go, or the confidence to go, or the excitement to go and watch this movie. Speaking of Truth is brought to you by Brown Group of Maryland. Brown Group of Maryland is the parent country of this podcast, Speaking the Truth. Also, King Leo Publications House is my baby. Go to KingLeoBrown.com, or King Leo Brown Publishing House. And also Associates Life Coaching Counseling. If you're feeling blue and don't know what to do, go to Anthony Brown. He will help you. 1-800-217-7140 for Life Coaching Counseling. And also you can find out more about that at KingLeoBrown.com. So, yes, the cape-wearing truth and justice preaching superhero, but not just the character, the message behind the movie, and why it's stirring controversy. Some are calling it woke. Others are calling it thinly veiled attack on Israel. I'm calling it what it is. A modern day parable about good, evil, and moral clarity. And one that we desperately need. Let's start with the basics. In the film, Superman finds himself caught between two fictional countries, Moravia, a U.S.-backed military superpower that launches an invasion, and Jahanpur, a poor, cultural, rich nation devastated by war. Jahanpur. Now, while the movie doesn't name Gaza or Palestine outright, the imagery speaks volumes. Border fences, tanks, breaching refugees zones, and civilians running for cover. It's all there. And Superman, he doesn't take sides based on political alliances or military strength. He intervenes to protect innocent people, period. And that's what's upsetting some folks. But since when is that a bad thing? So I'm gonna play you a clip of someone who think is a bad thing, who's having an issue with the movie, saying the Superman is going woke. You know what that means. That's the name of his segment. So you can see this outrage. This is from Ben Shapiro. He's a right-wing conservative podcaster. So let's see what he has to say about it.
It's coming out this week. So, of course, this is much lighter news. Superman, the new movie from James Gunn. I've been a little skeptical of it because I think that James Gunn, he's fine for Guardians of the Galaxy, but Superman is a more serious property. The reason that it's relevant politically is because when we talk about the left and the left in the media, and then we talk about the left in Hollywood, the level of out-of-touchness with the everyday American is truly insane, truly crazy. So James Gunn did an interview with the Times of London, and he was talking about the themes in Superman. And he explained that the superhero epic encompasses the story of America. He said, Superman is the story of America, an immigrant that came from other places and populated the country. But for me, it is mostly a story that says basic human kindness is a value and is something that we have lost. So he's now trying to make the case effectively that Superman is kind of an illegal immigrant. But acknowledge the movie seems to be interpreted differently.
Okay, so where in the say he was illegal? He is an alien from outer space. But where do you get illegal and law and order out of that? I don't know. Let's let him continue.
Political group, especially considering the nationwide unrest around immigration. However, Gunn stands by the ideals embedded in Superman and added he doesn't care if anyone takes offense. Yes, it plays differently, but it's about human kindness. And obviously there will be jerks out there who are just not kind and take it as offensive just because it is about kindness. But screw them. And this is, yes, it's about politics, but on another level, it's about morality. I do not understand the necessity for all of these Hollywood folks to undercut the pitch of their own film before it even comes out.
I don't think he undercut the film. What I think that he said it was an intersection politics and morality, and we need more than that because obviously nowadays there is no more morality in politics. Where's the morality in politics? It would be a better country. Talk about making America great again. Where's morality in politics?
It's insane. It's totally insane. By the way, David Corn did the exact same thing.
Ladies, listen up. The video showing the pink salt trick that melts belly fat while you sleep has already passed 20.
Cornsweat refused to say truth, justice, and the American way in a recent interview. Instead, he said truth, justice, and all that good stuff because he doesn't want to say the American way. The reality that Hollywood is so far to the left that they cannot take a core piece of Americana and just say it's about America. This has been a problem since basically after the original Christopher Reeve series. Every single iteration of Superman that's been made since then has avoided truth, justice, and the American way because they just refuse to acknowledge the American way is good. The American way
is good, and it's if you ideally go by what's in the Constitution, but what we're living now is contrary to that. So he's obviously
is in fact unique. And this lies at the root of a leftist worldview. That leftist worldview is astonishingly anti-American. It really is. This hardcore left worldview that says that America is somehow uniquely bad. So if there is a comic book character who is built on the goodness,
America that's built on racism, that's built on stealing black bodies from Africa, that's built on Jim Crow, that's built on kidnapping people and sending them to foreign countries that didn't grow up in, or prisons. That's good. That's respecting life. Come on, man. But it doesn't mean that you dislike and unlove America. It's that we're saying do better. We can do better. We can make America what this country, what the Constitution, the ideas of the Constitution, the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and not be individualistic about it.
Of America, which is what Superman really is about. If Superman is an immigration story, for those who are not familiar with the origin story,
not just an immigration story, but that's part of it.
Superman, who comes from the planet Krypton and then lands in America, and then is brought up in a Midwestern household on a farm by his adoptive parents and integrated into true American values, and then goes to Metropolis and brings his sort of country values to the big city where crime is rife and where everybody is too cynical and sophisticated. And the whole point of Superman is that he's bringing these kind of classic American values to the big city. It's a riff on how New York kind of sucks in many ways, actually. Superman, the original, is very much about how the values of America are farm-bred and farm-born. Right? His moral center, his moral compass, Superman, is on the farm from his parents. That's why he takes the name Clark Kent. He's an immigrant who assimilates to American values and then brings those classic American values to the big city where he has to use them to defend the big city from enemies, foreign and domestic.
Right.
I mean, the original Superman is literally punching Hitler in the face. In the comics, he literally punches Hitler in the face.
Right. And this Superman is doing the same thing. He's punching someone in the face to murder civilians, especially children and women, starve them. And there's nothing wrong about protecting your country, protecting your borders, but to bomb people that are innocent, to bomb civilians, apartment homes, schools, hospitals, and this has happened over and over and over again. We see it in Ukraine. We're seeing it in other places. And if you speak out against certain places, people want to call you anti-Semitic. But what happened to the value of life? What happened to thinking that, having the idea that all life is valuable? What happened to that? Until it's okay to to look. It's not okay. It's not okay. So there it is, the outrage, the woke alarm. But let's break it down. What exactly are they angry about? That Superman didn't support mass bombings? That he shielded children from drone strikes? That he said kindness matters? Friends, if that's woke, then I'm proud to be awake. People act like Superman was just a popcorn action figure until now, but Superman's roots go back to 1938, created by Jewish artist Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, right as fascism was rising in Europe. He fought Nazis, he battled the Klan, he defended the weak. Superman has always been a political symbol, a refugee from a dying world, an alien trying to belong, a messiah figure who sacrifices himself to save humanity. Sound familiar? That's right. Superman is the closest thing to the superhero world has to Jesus. He died, he came back, and he keeps choosing compassion over conquest. So the question becomes, what are people so threatened? Why are people so threatened by that? In the movie, Moravia's military might supplied and cheered on the powerful nations ruthlessly invade Jahanpur and who suffers. Women, children, civilians. This is not anti-Semitic. Let me say that again. This is not anti-Semitic. Israel has the right to defend itself from terrorism. But no one, and I mean no one, has a right to target civilians, to flatten hospitals, to turn refugees camps into graveyards. That's no defense. That's devastation. That's an international war crime. Superman makes that distinction, and for doing that, some folks call the movie propaganda. But maybe it's our conscience that's being pricked. Now let's talk about Metropolis. In the movie, it clearly mirrors America, a decaying empire with a messiah complex, a superpower, ignoring the climate crisis, pushing out immigrants, and clinging to outdated systems of power. We are watching our nation fund wars, deny science, criminalize kindness, and turn a blind eye to the suffering of refugees. That's not democracy. That's not a moral collapse. Superman sees it and says, no, not on my watch. And suddenly he's woke. No, he's awake. And he's asking us to wake up too. Superman is an alien. He's constantly questioned about whether he belongs, despite saving the world over and over and over again. He's feared, mistrusted, and even demonized. Sounds familiar? That's what our undocumented brothers and sisters face every day in America. Many were brought here as children. Many are working 2 jobs, paying taxes, raising families, and still being treated like criminals. We claim to be a nation of immigrants, but only when it's convenient. Superman challenges that hypocrisy. He says, what makes someone belong? Isn't it where they're from? It's how they love, how they serve, how they protect others. So here's the core of this movie and today's episode. Good will always win. Even when it looks like evil is having its way. Even when war, division, and corruption seems too big to beat. Superman never gives up. He never stops believing in people. He never chooses fear. And neither should we. So, no, this isn't a woke movie. It's telling us that in 50 years, people will look back and say, how did they let this happen? How did they let children die? How did they forget what it's meant to be human? And maybe, just maybe, Superman is here to remind us before it's too late. So thank you for listening to Speaking the Truth. I'm your host, Anthony Brown. If you felt the message, share it. If it challenged you, sit with it. If it inspired you, act on it. And remember, being human means being humane, even when it's hard. So like, share. If you like this episode, my name is Anthony Brown. If you did, my name is Jonathan. See you next time.